Golf Pick'em Expert Picks, brought to you by FootJoy.
A late finish to the Northern Trust means it is crunch time now for the BMW Championship, and we're talking about Golf Pick'em in the NBC Sports Predictor app. By now, you know the drill. There's only 2 weeks left in the season. 10 head-to-head matchups. Make your selections. Pick a tournament winner and a winning score. You can compete for up to $50,000 in prizes for a perfect score, $1,000 in guaranteed prizes each and every week. So we have the top 70 in points heading to Maryland, and we're going to start with a matchup of the last 2 BMW champions. Jon Rahm won this event last year at Olympia Field. Justin Thomas was the BMW champion 2 years ago at Medina. Now they're going head-to-head, both coming off a strong finish at Liberty National. Rahm was third. JT finished T4. But for JT, that was really his best result since winning the Players' Championship way back in March. Rahm continued on his tear, very nearly won again in his first start after testing positive for COVID and missing the Olympics. He has been stellar basically all summer. Hasn't finished worse than third in each of his last 4 starts. You go back to the Memorial that he almost won. He is head and shoulders above the rest of the players right now in the world. I think that trend is going to continue. Even though JT is now getting some late momentum, he's looking good for that U.S. Ryder Cup team. I think Jon Rahm is the way to go in this matchup as we get one step closer to Eastlake. 2 major champions who had the weekend off in New Jersey, and that may not have been a bad thing for Collin Morikawa and Dustin Johnson. That means they missed all the weather delays in the Monday finish at Liberty National. They're going to arrive this week at Caves Valley Golf Club fresh and ready to go. Morikawa apparently has been nursing a bit of a back injury. It may have flared up in the wake of the Olympics. He was a surprising early exit last week. DJ played decently, not good enough, missed the cut by a shot. We remember last year at the BMW, he came so close to winning, just lost in a playoff to Jon Rahm when the tournament was at Olympia Fields. He's going to need to make a move if he's going to get into position to potentially successfully defend the FedEx Cup title that he won last year. I'm going to side with Morikawa. I think last week was a blip. I think his iron game travels, and going to a course where no one knows, I think he could be at an even bigger advantage. I think he's going to bounce back in a big way and position himself even better for the Tour Championship. 2 guys heading to Maryland with the Ryder Cup on their mind. That's Xander Schauffele and Jordan Spieth. Both of them are in the mix for the 6th and final automatic qualifying spot for the U.S. Ryder Cup team. That locks after this week's BMW Championship, so there's a lot to play for, even above trying to make the top 30 for the Tour Championship and positioning yourself with all the starting strokes. Neither one of them had a great Monday or final round at the Northern Trust. Schauffele fell back to a T16 finish. Jordan Spieth ballooned all the way to a 79, a really surprising result given how well he had played a couple days before. He shot a 62 in the second round. Schauffele, remember the gold medal in Tokyo. He has been really solid. Jordan Spieth a little bit more hot and cold. We know the highs have been very high, including a runner-up finish just last month at the Open Championship. I'm going to side with Schauffele. He's got a little bit of the inside track over Spieth for that Ryder Cup spot. I think he has been a little bit more steady tee to green. I think that's going to continue, and it may take a couple days for Jordan Spieth to shake off that 79 at Liberty National. 2 major champions who finished in the middle of the pack at the playoff opener last week in New Jersey. It's Rory McIlroy against Bryson DeChambeau. It took until the 3rd round for Rory to kind of get things in gear at Liberty National, and by then it was too little too late as the leaders had sped off ahead of him. Bryson didn't finish too much better. Rory was T43, Bryson finished T31, and Bryson continues to try and get his game in gear and get some consistency since his spring tear that included a runner-up at the Players, a win at Bay Hill. We know he's been close. He was close in Memphis. He was close, obviously, at the U.S. Open, but the consistency has not quite been there. For McIlroy, he's thinking about the bubble this week. You need to be in the top 30 to make the Tour Championship. He's going to start the week at number 28, so he's going to need a big result in Maryland just to make it into the 30-man field at Eastlake. That is not a sweat that concerns Bryson DeChambeau. Early reports are that Caves Valley, which is hosting for the first time, has some extra room to miss off the tee. That speaks well for the longest hitter in the game. I'm going to give the edge to Bryson in this matchup. So those are some of my thoughts on the marquee matchups this week in Golf Pick'em. But remember, go into the NBC Sports Predictor app, make your selections for 10 head-to-head matchups, but you also need a tournament winner. And this week, I'm going to go with the guy who was the only one missing from the entry list last week at the Northern Trust. That's Louis Oosthuizen. He has not played since a T17 finish in Memphis. He's come so close this year. We remember the runner-ups at the PGA Championship and the US Open. This has been the year of drought-breaking victories. So many great players have gotten back into the winner's circle. Rory, Jordan Spieth, the list goes on and on. I think Louis Oosthuizen is going to be the next one to break that victory drought. I think he does it this week at the BMW Championship, even though he didn't play last week at Liberty National. So those are my thoughts. Remember, go into the NBC Sports Predictor app, go into Golf Pick'em. Only 2 weeks left in the season. Make your selections for 10 head-to-head Pick'em matchups. Pick a tournament winner and a winning score, $1,000 in guaranteed prizes, $50,000 jackpot up for grabs for a perfect score. We'll see you next week for the Tour Championship.